In this time-lapse, I am going to show you how I build all my custom locomotives and put the cool LEDs and lights on them. We'll begin from a shell I pre-wired. With this model, we've started an install already with the Keep Alive DCC 21 pin decoder and key factor here, a decoder buddy connector from nixtrains.com. You want to make sure you have an inset of 37 millimeters approximately. You'll also see how I use a LED light tester tool also from Nick Trains. For the sake of time, we've sped up the time lapse here, and again we're using a decoder buddy for our 21-pin decoder. Depending on the manufacturer, a 21-pin decoder can be used with decoder buddies. Suggestion: depending on your 21-pin decoder manufacturer, use a cheat sheet to wire in your auxiliary pads to the correct lighting pads on the decoder buddy, as I have done here, and just wire away. Here I'm preparing to make sure my frame is secure and no moving parts are going to flop off as I build and test on top of my roller track. Cost-saving tip of the day: look up Edgelick pre-wired SMD LEDs model 0402 on Amazon. Before I wire in my connector, I use the LED connector tool from nixtrains.com to make sure my manufacturer is talking correctly to the LEDs I've set up in the programming. Now with that test passed, all I do is wire in the connector that has the LEDs pre-wired into the shell. Here you see me wiring in each LED from the shell and testing it simultaneously as I wire it into the connector of the decoder buddy. This talks to my pre-tested and confirmed-tested DCC 21 pin decoder. From time to time, check your cheat sheet to make sure you wired in the correct decoder pad. Again, check your manufacturer's CVs or software instructions for those locations. As you go, test each wiring that you've done of your LEDs. This is important and critical that you do this as soon as you wire them in. This way, it cuts down on the amount of troubleshooting you have to do. I use digital tweezers to confirm that my LEDs work. Now for the step lights as shown here, I code the edge of the step light for about 1 inch or ½ an inch with electric liquid tape. What this does is this keeps the edge of the step light LED from chopping off or breaking when a shell is assembled. Now about those digital tweezers. You've seen me test wire in all my LEDs from the shell. Every wire I connect to the decoder buddy I test with my digital tweezers. Another tool I use is UVCA acrylic compound called Bondig. With this fast-drying, clear UV tool, I use everything from securing my wires to actually putting the lens caps on my ditch lights. Here I'm using Bondic to attach the wiring to the metal frame. Actually, you can use either Bondic or any type of superglue. I just chose to use Bondic since I already had it out in near me. For my truck light LEDs, I secure them in with superglue gel. Then I take just a drop of instant set glue accelerator to complete the process. And then a quick test to make sure it works. Now let's assemble and thread in all the rest of my LED step lights. I have a unique way of securing these and threading these through the frame using, of course, Bondic to secure them to the frame. Don't forget to test them as you go. And now back over to the assembly roller track. Final phase. We do what I call an assembly track testing phase, where I test in real time all the functionality of the model before assembling it and putting the shell back on. That way, I'm more quickly able to run my trains and just make a few minor tweaks to programming as needed. We twist the shell on to secure the loose wires so they don't fly out from under the shell, but not too tightly. Otherwise, you will strip out some wires and then we affix the shell. Carefully. And then we take our LED step lights and thread and weave them through the steps. Now we begin QAing our locomotive in real time on my roller tracks. With the controller I'm running off screen, I test everything here at the scene where I'm developing and assembling my locomotive. The key is to test and build like you're on a real assembly plant, just like an engineer putting your parts together, testing them and seeing how they work. And then we test everything here at the scene where I'm running off screen. Limits on your wallet. Increases your creativity to run some really cool custom-built trains. My custom train tricks brings out the art and inspiring love for the hobby of how it looks and how it makes the layout just pop. Want one of your own built from an old DC engine? Reach out to me and we'll discuss. You will not find trains like this made anywhere else. They truly are DIY customized trains made in America. And it looks like this QA test at the end of the assembly line is a go for this model, to add to my other 30 locomotives that I've also custom built. Now on to the layout for the real test. Isn't it cool? Here we see our red cab e-brake functionality working perfectly because we tested it during assembly on our assembly line. As we were building, not afterwards. As we continue running on our layout, have no worry about light intensities on your LED. Those can be adjusted along the way. No need to panic. It's all good. If you so desire, add a little touch-up weathering if you like to in certain areas of your locomotive to give it just that right touch feel. I don't weather all my locomotives, as it just depends on the setting or era of time I want my visual photos to resemble.